The biggest draw to be using Li Zhu comes in from the reducing the mana of all enemies by 10%. With her only being at 10%, that is a big difference between the 10% and the 20% because Hey, thanks so much for checking out the channel. If you're curious about any other hero in Empires and Puzzles, you can view my website at anchorgame.com. There you will find I've graded every single hero with a calibrated team of graders. This resource will always be free. Thinking about supporting the hero grades and the breakdown videos? You're welcome to donate. Otherwise, feel free to share this resource with a friend. I have my exclusive line group called Anchor Cove, where you gain access to myself and tons of other experienced players with on-demand information and resources. If that piques your interest, all that information is on the opening page of my website with a short video. Let me dive into today's hero breakdown. Hey, thanks so much for checking out the channel. Today we're doing a brand new hero breakdown on Li Zhu costume. She's got 660 on her attack, 690 on her defense, and 1189 on her health. Statistically, the attack power is not that great, defense is pretty solid, health total is not that great. She is running at average speed. She is part of the classic costumes, which means she gives you a bonus. You get an attack bonus of 5%, defensive bonus of 5%, and a health bonus of 10%, and a mana bonus of 5%. So what that means is when you get the costume, it's extremely important. You level up the costume, and the regular version also receives those bonuses. So if you are ever debating whether or not you want to use Li Zhu costume or Li Zhu, you want to make sure it doesn't matter if you're going to use either one. You want to make sure you level up the costume because you get the bonus that applies to both the costume and the regular version. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. It is a free massive turn-based dark fantasy RPG. If you want a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is click on the link in the description. If you're a new player, you get a 1-day XP boost, 3 Raid Flasks, 1 Ancient Shard, 1 Void Champion Bulwark, and 50 gems. All your treasure, it's waiting for you right over here. As far as her hero special goes, she deals 180% damage to all enemies and reduces the mana of all enemies by 10%. So the biggest difference between the regular version and the costume version, I believe the regular version is at 150% damage and reduces the mana by 20%, where she's at 180 and she's reducing it by 10%. So that's really important. The biggest draw to be using Li Zhu comes in from the reducing the mana of all enemies by 10%. With her only being at 10%, that is a big difference between the 10% and the 20% because essentially if you are attacking into her and she's on defense, you can just simply get back all the mana you had by clicking on like a dragon or something like that. Whereas the 20% typically requires you to do a match 3, which is a little bit harder to get your mana back. So there is a big difference between the mana of the 10% versus the 20%. So she is running at a rogue on this, which definitely helps out in her favor because that makes it so if you have hero specials going into her, there is that potential to dodge and miss that damage that's going there. So when we look at her Titan grade, she is going to get a B- grade there. I don't really see it to be too much of an importance of her being able to reduce the mana. That's the biggest draw to be using this character, where you don't really care too much about the damage. And with her not having that grade of attack stats at 660, it's not going to be the best hero you're going to be wanting to use on the Titans. I don't really recommend her that much. That's why she's going to get a B- grade there. When we look at her offensively, she is currently at a B-. I see that there could potentially be some usage using her, but I don't really like the fact that she's only using that 10% mana down. You're going to see when you use her on offense, it doesn't really take back too much of the mana. It does help if the caster is about to go off where they're on defense, and she does reduce it a little bit, but there is a sizable amount of difference between the regular version and her version running at the 10% versus 20%. Now, I do understand that there is a little bit more damage, that maybe there is that draw, but the biggest thing that Li Zhu provides is dealing damage to all, but most importantly, it's going to be reducing the mana. That's why she's currently sitting at a B-. I could see this maybe going into a B. I don't really see it going too much further than a B+. There is some wiggle room there. When we look at her defensively, she is going to get a B as far as the tank grade goes. I see that you could definitely use her as a tank with her being in a situation to where she's dealing damage and then she's also reducing mana. I don't see it as it being better than the regular version, but there is some usability there. And then when we look at her flank grade, she is going to get another B grade there, being that she can deal damage and reduce mana. You're not really expecting her to go off. And I think that in the wing position possibly might be the best spot. There is some debate there. I think it's in the B+. I think that she's kind of situated between a B or a B+, going throughout all stages of the defense. Again, I think that you could use her, but it's probably not the best bet, being with the costume version. The costume version, that's the biggest difference. So overall, defensively, she is going to get a B grade there. And then when we look at her defensive grade when we look at her weekly raid grade, she is going to get a B on rush attack with her running now at very fast speed. She's reducing the mana. The only issue that I have is that I know that the regular version exists where it reduces at 20%. So if you do have the costume version, you're going to have the regular version, and it's just the regular version is just better. There's no other way to really put it. Obviously, you're getting a little bit more damage with this version, but the biggest draw and the only real reason to really use Lizu is the fact that she's reducing mana to all enemies. And I just know that if you have the costume version, you're going to have the regular version. So you're going to want to use the regular version over the costume version. So that's why you're going to see the grades are going to be definitely different. It's definitely going to be more in the favor of the regular version. She is going to get a B on the rush attack. And then when we look at her buff grade, she is going to get a B grade there. Another B grade, just situationally putting herself out. She's dealing the damage, and then she's reducing the mana by 10%. I think that there might be some better heroes that you could be using, but still a solid hero to be using in the buff. And on Bloody Battle, she is going to get a B+ grade there. With her running at average speed, she's dealing damage to all enemies, and she's reducing mana. So that does help out. She is going to get a B+ grade there. So when we look at her overall grade, she is going to get an overall B grade. Some usability, but if you're going to be using her, use the regular version. It's going to be a whole lot better experience for you because you're going to be taking advantage of the fact that she's reducing the mana by 20%. So thank you so much for watching this content. Please make sure you subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you on the next video.